You are with the Urban Debate tonight. I'm Seher Zama. We have once again been hit with the brutal fact of how rampantly manual scavenging still exists in our country, despite it being banned by law since the year 1993. A central government task force this year has so far, in just phase 1 of their counting, calculated 53,000 plus manual scavengers in India, and which is already a 4-fold increase from the official figures of last year. To have citizens of our country do manual scavenging is the most heinous and ugliest of our realities. And why this has once again come as a slap on our face. These images of your screen, the latest that's coming from Bhopal, a man trying to clean a flooded open drain. One, that he has been employed illegally. Second, he is dipping in without any protective gear. It was a dramatic announcement that was made from the Red Fort in marking 15th August 2014, India's Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, a campaign which also includes eliminating manual scavenging by 2019, just next year. Today, we barely have the complete figures to establish how many are still illegally employed in this undignified job, leave alone fixing this problem.
Apologies for putting you off your meal, but this story needs to be told. This visual needs to be seen because it should have no place in New India. This clip on your screen is from Bhopal, the capital of Madhya Pradesh. And watch as this man, a municipal worker, dives into a pool filled with filth and human excreta to clean it. He has no gloves or headgear. All this for a mere 1,000 rupees. Manual scavenging, or this practice of getting people to manually clean up sewers and drains, was outlawed, first in 1993 and then again in 2013. But as this video clearly shows, the law is being flouted openly.
We have seen how across the country such cases have come up. In fact, the very recent report also points out to the fact that there has been a 4-fold increase in the number of people who are indulging in manual scavenging.
And it's not just Madhya Pradesh. Down south, Tamil Nadu accounts for 45% of manual scavenger deaths in India. Just last week, a 34-year-old died while cleaning a septic tank.
See, we against for that. So what the Supreme Court order in this, we obey that order and we follow it.
On last count, India has 53,236 manual scavengers. The number has risen 4-fold since the practice was banned in 2013. Since 1993, 323 people have died cleaning our excreta. And today on Mirror Now, we ask, why are our governments turning a blind eye to this inhuman practice? Should this crime against humanity have a place in New India? The debate begins now.
And let's throw this open tonight to our panelists. Colin Gonzalez, founder of the Human Rights Law Network. Shama Mohammed, spokesperson of the Congress. Dr. Anil Soumitra, spokesperson of the BJP in Bhopal. Biswada Wilson, manual scavenger activist, Maxese Wodi, Ramesh Haralkar, activist, and John Dayal, Dalit activist. Let me first throw this open here to the BJP spokesperson, Dr. Soumitra. I beg your pardon. Dr. Soumitra, the figures here that have just been released by the government, one being the allegation that have come in late in the day because we are already running out of time to eliminate this from the face of our country altogether.
ये बहुत ही दुखद घटना है, चिंताजनक है और ये हम लोगों ने जो पता किया है हमको ये पता चला कि वहां जिस वार्ड में ये दुर्घटना या गलत काम हुआ है, वहां के पार्षद कांग्रेस कारपोरेटर हैं और वो कांग्रेस की पदाधिकारी रह चुकी हैं और अभी वर्तमान में वो कांग्रेस की कारपोरेटर हैं, वार्ड नंबर 22 है। और ये जो व्यक्ति है वो डी बेस पे उन्होंने ही रखा हुआ है। हम लोगों ने यहाँ के महापौर से ये पूछा कि आपके रहते हुआ कैसे हुआ, और भोपाल स्वच्छता में नंबर 2 स्थान पोजीशन पे आया है, तो उन्होंने ये कहा कि हम लोगों ने तत्काल कमिश्नर को ये कहा है कि उसके ऊपर कार्रवाई करिए। तो तत्काल जांच के आदेश दिए गए हैं कि क्यों ऐसी दुर्घटना हुई, क्यों इस तरह की हरकत हुई है, और वो जांच आने के बाद जो निष्कर्ष आएंगे उसके ऊपर भोपाल में उसके ऊपर कार्रवाई होगी। जो भी जिम्मेदार व्यक्ति है, अगर नगर निगम के अधिकारी जिम्मेदार है तो उस पर कार्रवाई होगी, और पार्षद अगर जिम्मेदार है तो पार्षद के ऊपर भी हम लोग कोशिश करेंगे कि कार्रवाई हो। लेकिन दुखद यह है कि वो कांग्रेस के मेंबर हैं, कांग्रेस की पार्षद, लेकिन देश में ऐसी कहीं भी
डॉक्टर सुमित्रा, ये बहुत अफसोस की बात है कि मुद्दा छिड़ते ही आपने पॉलिटिक्स, आपने राजनीति इस पे शुरू कर दी। कांग्रेस के कार्यकर्ता वहां होने से क्या होता है? आपकी बीजेपी भाजपा की सरकार वहां पिछले 3 टर्म से है, इससे क्या फर्क पड़ता है?
नहीं, मैं इसलिए कह रहा हूं कि सरकार की उसमें कोई भूमिका ही नहीं हुई फिलहाल। तो वहां जिस वार्ड में ये घटना हुई है, ये पूरी सरकार को, मध्य प्रदेश को बदनाम करने के लिए, और इसलिए कि हम लोग पॉलिटिकल लोग हैं, इसलिए कि इस तरह की हरकत नहीं करते। कांग्रेस के लोगों ने किया है, कांग्रेस की यहाँ की पार्षद है, उसी ने डेलीगेट पे इनको रखा हुआ है, उनके वार्ड की यह घटना है। इसमें लोकल गवर्नमेंट का कोई रोल नहीं है।
अनिल जी, मध्य प्रदेश स्टैटिस्टिक्स जो रिलीज हुए हैं, जो कई सालों से रिलीज हो रहे हैं, उसका स्टेट वाइज अगर ब्रेक डाउन किया जाए, उत्तर प्रदेश has the highest number of manual scavengers. Second on that list is Madhya Pradesh. क्या इसमें भी कांग्रेस का हाथ है? ऑफिशियल गवर्नमेंट फिगर्स में भी कांग्रेस का हाथ है?
आप इसके अलावा कोई भी डाटा बताइए, कोई भी ऐसी घटना बताइए, हम जिम्मेदारी देते हैं। ये जो घटना घटी है, ये छवि खराब करने के लिए, और वो जो सिस्टम है मैनुअली स्कैवेंजर्स की, उसको ही मेंटेन करने के लिए कांग्रेस के लोगों ने किया है, और ये मध्य प्रदेश की छवि खराब करने के लिए किया है। हम आरोप लगा तो रहे हैं और उनके ऊपर कार्रवाई होगी। सरकार ने भी कहा है कि आपके महापौर ने भी कहा है, जांच के निर्देश दिए गए हैं, और ऐसी कोई भी घटना हो या ऐसी आपकी जानकारी में हो तो हमको बताइए, हम लोग कार्रवाई करेंगे। सोशल लेवल पे भी, पॉलिटिकली भी और एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के लेवल पे भी हम लोग कार्रवाई करेंगे, और उसके लिए सक्षम है।
Biswara Wilson, in your view, the first reaction that we get is an ugly politicization, irrespective of what the figures have been indicating for the past several years. How do we get rid of this menace if we have petty politicization even on this issue?
See, it is a strongly condemnable. No politician in this country has a right to talk this kind of a language at all. Every party, whoever the person who spoke, the Mr. Dr. Sumitra also, their party has ruled in many states in the country several years, including the Congress also. This is not the party's politics. Stop all your politics here. It is a national shame. It is a national problem. It is the citizens are dying in this country. Don't talk your politics. Stop all this nonsense politics. When the people are dying, you are bringing that there is a corporator. It is not the matter of the corporator. 2014, the Prime Minister announced the Swachh Bharat, and we are spending the crores of the rupees. And where the money is going? Can't you stop even the killing our people in the sewer line and septic tank? We are asking the single demand past 35 years in this country. You are also, everybody is ruled this country. Don't make the politics here. Don't play your politics with the life and the dignity of the Dalits in the country. Be careful when you are playing your politics, when the people are dying in the sewer line. You must come with an action plan. If you don't have, any action plan, please come to the nation and apologize to the community and the citizens of this country. This is not the matter which you can talk just like this and close the TV show. This is not the TV
Right.
show. This is not the matter can be discussed in 2018. In after the so many years of the independence.
Shama, let's get you in at this point. Apart from this specific case in Bhopal, where you have the BJP representative saying this has happened because you have the Congress councillor there, the Congress worker there who is in that given area in Bhopal. Apart from the politics here of it, there is also an allegation here that in the year 2013, the definition of manual scavengers was changed, which is why we are reporting in the few years relatively less. 2018, of course, is just spiked up, but it has changed the figures altogether. Why was the definition changed? Why do we not have those workers who are getting into septic tanks and cleaning septic tanks, cleaning sewer lines as well, not falling under the the definition of being a manual scavenger? Because this is what the ILO, the International Labour Organization, also says, that you have all three categories that have to be taken into account to be called manual scavengers. Why did India decide to change this definition?
Okay, a couple of things. First and foremost, I think the person from the BJP spokesperson, I tell him, shame on you, shame on you, shame on you. This is something which is a national shame that we have in the 21st century.
Right.
People going into sewages to remove, I must use the word, fecal matter. I mean, can you imagine they're getting into fecal matter without any protective gear? And this man is politicizing the whole thing and pointing fingers at the Congress party. I mean, he should not even be, even as a spokesperson or related to be in any sort of party. This is a very serious issue and we all have to take it. Now, you've talked about a point right now saying we've changed the definition. I think you've got it wrong. In 1993, under Narasimha Rao, we had, the law was the Employment of Manual Scavengers and Construction of Dry Latrines Prohibition Act, 1993. What we did in 2013, in fact, is change that. We have added rehabilitation, prohibition of employment as manual scavengers, and the Rehabilitation Act. In that, we have also included the people who go into sewers and sewers so that they are not supposed to go. In fact, we've got that before it was not there. It was only the dry latrines, the scavengers who clean dry latrines in 1993. In 2013, we have added the scavengers going into various pits, going into dirty latrines and also into sewers. So that was added, in fact. So sorry, you've got it wrong. And we want to rehabilitate them. You know that in the 2011 census, there are around 700,000 manual scavengers. Now, when you take them out of work, we need to rehabilitate these people. Point number one. Point number two is, let's say that this Prime Minister started something called, I mean, even though we had Nirmal Bharat Abhiyan, he started something called Swachh Bharat with a big force out there, and he talks about construction of toilets. It's not about construction of toilets alone. Swachhta is about people in the 21st century going into fecal matter. We can have suction pipes which are used all over the world. You don't have people going, and on top of that, even if they go, they should have protective gear. He talks about building toilets in villages, but with septic tanks. Now, what is a septic tank? Who is going to clean the septic tank? Where is the sewage system? Let Prime Minister Modi come out and talk about these manual scavengers. It is inhuman. We have a law. Yes, you're right, we have a law. But we need to follow this up and we have to stop this at the earliest. These people are supposed to go, whoever. Now, what has happened in every municipality is that there is a contractor. The municipality gives it to a contractor. So they get out of it and they hire them for like 250 rupees per day. Can you imagine? 250 rupees to get into it. And if if a person dies, the thing is they go to prison for 5 years, but nothing of this is taken into account. Now, Mr. Bezwada Wilson was talking the right thing. We really need to do, and since this Prime Minister has taken up Swachh Bharat, let him show the way, and let's not make it a big political issue. I think it is something which we Indians, you, me, all have to hang our head in shame. This is something we really need to hang our head in shame, and we need to really take it up and punish these people.
Bizwara Wilson, I'd like to correct this on record, because we know that the government does not consider sanitation workers cleaning septic tanks and sewer lines as manual scavengers. Provided they're given protective gear, they will not be considered manual scavengers. Am I right or am I wrong?
But in the 2013 Act, we have added it.
New, they have included everything.
I have it with me.
Yes.
Bizwara Wilson, please go ahead.
Included clearing, carrying, disposing human excreta in any manner is a punishable crime. But they said in case of emergency and some hazardous cleaning when it is happening, the safety gear can be given. But it is not. See, in case of emergency means what? It is not every day. All 650 districts, all local bodies, you just ask the people to enter and say that it is emergency. And another thing is, according to the SC/ST Atrocities Prevention Act says very clearly, you cannot employ or engage any human being, particularly Dalits, to clean the human excreta. And moreover, we don't require any law. We are, as in human beings, we must understand. And let us come to the point. Manual scavenging in the dry latrine is prohibited by 2013 also. Why still 1.6 lakhs women still cleaning the human excreta in the dry latrine? Why we are not talking about that? And why we have not prosecuted, punished or made any arrest across the country till now? Where we are doing the work.
Right.
And we have the public
Mr. John Dayal, the argument here also being that because traditionally, unfortunately, this practice has been so caste driven, which is why perhaps we're still struggling to get rid of it.
Entire. No, precisely. You have heard the anger in Bezwara Wilson's voice, but you have not heard the pain in his voice. And that is the whole point, because human excreta, manual scavenging would not have been possible if it was also not rooted in caste and the fact that only a particular subcaste is charged with removing it. And let me add two other dimensions which you have not considered. Have you considered how adult diapers and a child's diapers are disposed? Have you ever been to a railway station, including New Delhi railway station, and seen how do they clean the tracks when the train stacks at the platform and people use the toilets and all of the excreta is there and there's one man cleaning it? I would say the railways is the largest employer of people who manually remove human excreta without bringing them into the act and even counting them. So here is the question. Modern science, and you're quite right, the addition of dry lavatories, the addition of septic tanks would increase the threat and the risk of people dying by cleaning those septic tanks. What are the additional technological facilities that have been doing? I mean, in Delhi, sometimes we see in New Delhi one of those pumps at the vans that suck it out. But elsewhere, do these things exist? And I must tell you one thing.
In smaller towns, in smaller cities. Colin Gonsalves, would you like to step in at this point? Right now, we're only discussing figures because they've just been released by the government last month. Okay, all right, Mr. Dayal, go ahead. Yeah.
Can I make a small point? Yeah. No, Swami Agnivesh and I were doing some work in Rajasthan, in Mao. And when we looked at the manual scavengers who had collected there, to the shock of us, they were Muslims, There were Hindus, of course, in large numbers, and they were from other minority religions. So this permeates and percolates, it crosses, like caste itself, it has crossed the religion barrier. And therefore, more is the reason for every community to put pressure on the government. It's a national shame, it's a human shame, and it's a crime against humanity.
Without doubt. Colin Gonzalez, we're discussing this because the government, while saying that this is just phase one of taking into account only certain number of 120 districts, they should have been taking into more districts. Those figures would come in phase two after they have the final figure. But we are so far still only discussing these figures that have come in of people who are still employed and used as manual scavengers. There is also a figure to indicate that the government constantly shies away from on the number of deaths of manual scavengers while at work.
Yes, I was actually quite surprised when you started the program by referring to 53,000 manual scavengers in India. I'm doing a case in the Delhi High Court relating to those who go down into the sewers. And that estimate of manual scavengers exceeds 50,000 manual scavengers. None of these manual scavengers are on
so the
roll of
government
the
has
corporation
specified this is just
because
phase one.
No, I'm not interested in phase one or phase two. You cannot, after 50 years of independence, 60 years of independence, say, all right, this manual scavenging that has existed for 60 years, I'm going to take notice of it today. And you can't even take notice of it because you don't even have the numbers. I would say, if you take into consideration also John Dayal's statement of manual scavengers on the tracks of the railway tracks of India, I would say manual scavengers would be something like 60, 70, 80 lakhs, which means 8 million people are engaged in manual scavenging in this country. And the government comes up with a shameful figure, as it is wont to do. Not only this government, but the Congress government as well, to come up with a figure and say 53,000 I'm going to deal. In my case in the Delhi High Court, it was 40 to 50,000 workers. First of all, you can't even identify them because they're not on the rolls. They're employed through a contractor. And when they die, their bodies disappear because they are not on any rolls. So the first thing is, if you're serious about dealing with manual scavengers, is that you must at least enumerate them correctly and not make it such a farcical figure and set such a farcical target. You're not impressing anybody by this kind of, subterfuge and camouflage. We have worked with these workers. Their lungs get perforated because the fumes go into their lungs, become sulfuric acid and destroy their lungs. They all turn blind. If you go to the colonies here of these scavengers, you'll find that they're all blind because the acid fumes that come up destroy the mucus and turn them blind. So they are the living dead. This case is in the High Court for the last 10 years. It went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court gave a stunning order saying everybody must have protective equipment. Till today, can you find a single sewage worker, a manual scavenger with protective equipment? Walk down your roads in the morning, early morning, when they are taking away your garbage which is mixed with excreta. You'll find that their hands don't have gloves. The corporation, which is such a rich corporation in Delhi, they don't have gloves to carry. So I don't believe all this at all. I don't believe that the government, any government, it's not just the BJP Congress. We don't have to make it a boxing match between the two. Both of them don't care for the people of India.
Absolutely.
The fact and the reality is, India is a country of slaves. India is a country of slaves. We must recognize that fact, that we are a country of slaves. Why? Because our middle classes, upper middle classes are used to seeing slaves. They treat poor people as slaves. Dignity of labor has disappeared in this country. We are a country of slaves. Absolutely. And we've got used to it.
Mr. Ramesh Haralkar, as you are an activist here in this field, and we are aware of the National Commission for Safai Karmacharis, which is also working for the rehabilitation here of these people. If there is no acknowledgement of their suffering, no compensation for the deaths that are taking place, no acknowledgement or compensation for the manner in which their health is suffering, what kind of a rehabilitation are we really looking at here then?
बम्बई को तो पैसे का शहर बोलते हैं, फाइनेंस कैपिटल, मैं तो अभी जैसे कॉलिन सर ने और विल्सन जी ने बताया, मैं पहला ही दोनों का आभार मानता हूँ कि मेरे जैसे एक इस फील्ड में काम करने वाला एक मजदूर को अपने साथ उन्होंने लिया था बहुत सालों से। बम्बई में तो ये ऐसा नजारा है कि एक काम करने वालों को इंसान मानते ही नहीं। वो मरे, उसमें गुजर जाए, कुछ जाए, उसका न्यूज नहीं होता है, कोई उसके लिए लिखता नहीं, कोई बोलता नहीं, वो खुद नहीं बोलता। तो 60 साल के बाद भी ये जो तमाशा चालू है कि इनके राज में ये हुआ था, हमारे राज में नहीं होता, ये सब बकवास है और फालतू बातें हैं। एक कई सालों से ये चल रहा है। जिक्र करें तो अंबेडकर जी का जो ये लोगों के लिए काम है, संविधान में जो अमेंडमेंट किया, आज विल्सन जी के साथ मैंने जिस आंदोलन में मैं जुड़ गया, वो जो कानून दिया उसका इम्प्लीमेंट आज भी होता नहीं, बंबई में भी। तो लोग जाएंगे कहाँ? सख्ती से उनको ड्रेनेज में उतरा जाता है, कोई सुविधा नहीं, मर गया तो मर गया, उसके दूसरे बेटे को नौकरी देने का काम करने का, लेकिन कानून की इम्प्लीमेंट होती नहीं है। विल्सन जी जिस आवाज से बोलते थे, मैं तो मेरा बाप झाड़वाला था, मैं भी झाड़वाला है, लेकिन मेरे बच्चों को निकाल दिया, दूसरा कुछ भी धंधा करो के, लेकिन इसमें मत आ जाओ। ये इंसान का काम नहीं है और इस देश में इंसानियत है ही नहीं। तो ये हमने देखा है।
मगर रमेश जी, क्या आपको लगता है सरकार जो रिहैबिलिटेशन के तहत जो बोल रही है कि उनको कुछ और सिखाया जाएगा, उनको कुछ और नौकरी दी जाएगी, उनको इस काम से हटाया जाएगा, इसके लिए मशीन्स आएंगी, क्या आपको वो नजर आता है?
नहीं, एक दिखाने का दांत और खाने का दांत बोलते हैं ना, ये जो कई सालों से दिखाते हैं, मैं तो वही लोगों में रहता हूँ, वही लोगों के साथ जीता हूँ, वही लोगों के साथ मरने वाला है। कोई भी सरकार, इस देश का इंसान जो इस जात से बाहर का आदमी है, इस इशू को कुछ ही सेंसेशन करता नहीं। मशीन लाते हैं, वो हमको दिखता नहीं, आदमी उतरता है, उनको एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में प्रेशर करके, ये वोट बैंक है लोगों को खुश करने का। हमने देखो गटर भरा था, हमने उसको प्रेस किया, साफ कर दिया, लोग खुश। वो किधर गया, वो कैसा मर गया, उसके बारे में कोई बात नहीं करता है। तो ये सब दिखाने की एक स्लोगन रहता है, दिखाने की बातें रहते। अभी ये जो स्वच्छ भारत अभी जो आया है, वो सिर्फ रास्ते का झाड़ू में मैंने झाड़ू पकड़ा कि वो बड़ा हो गया, गांधी जी का चश्मा दिखाया, मैं बड़ा हो गया। लेकिन असलियत यह है कि स्वच्छ भारत होने के बाद मैं थोड़ा खुश था कि कुछ बदल हो जाएगा, लेकिन कई इस इश्यू पे ना कोई बंबई में बोलता है, ना कोई इसके बारे में जाता है, लेकिन वो वैसा ही चले जो विल्सन जी और कॉलिन साहब को भी मालूम है।
Mr. Anil, how would you like to respond to this? That this has become reduced to a mere photo opportunity here for the government. In 4 years, we have not seen work done in this direction. Now in the final year, with just about 9 months to go, we are only now seeing figures trickling in by the government to work on it.
गवर्नमेंट बोलेगा तो किसका नाम लेने का? ये गवर्नमेंट आया, वो गवर्नमेंट गया, इशू उधर ही रहता है ना। अभी बीच में हमने इसका एक फोटो का
Anil ji, please respond.
हाँ?
जी, we are getting a response from Mr. Anil of the BJP in Bhopal. Please respond.
What response can you have?
यार मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि ये सरकार की प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, ये सोसाइटी की प्रॉब्लम है और ये सोशियो पॉलिटिकल प्रॉब्लम है। आप एक पॉलिटिकल पर्सन को आपने बैठाया है और आप ये कह रहे हो कि पॉलिटिक्स कर रहे हैं। ये जॉन दयाल साहब बोल रहे हैं, कोई भी बोल रहे हैं, ये क्या करते हैं? इतने वर्षों तक एक मूवमेंट नहीं खड़ा कर और पॉलिटिक्स को और गवर्नमेंट को आलोचना करने, क्रिटिसाइज करने से काम चलता है क्या? और अगर पॉलिटिकल बिल नहीं होता तो क्या प्रधानमंत्री ने स्वच्छ भारत अभियान, निर्मल भारत अभियान क्यों चलाया होता? इतने गांव में शौचालय बने, वो क्यों बन रहे? सबसे पहले ये जो काम में लगे लोग वही क्राइम घोषित करिए।
Statement is that making.
अनिल जी, यही सवाल पूछा जा रहा है कि इसको एक फोटो अपॉर्चुनिटी तक ही रखा गया है, काम कितना हुआ है? मिस्टर जॉन दयाल, you wanted to step in on this with respect to the promises that have been made in the past 4 years. What is the ratio of work that has been done on ground?
अरे सुनिए तो सुनिए,
Colin
आप
Colin has
जाके गांव में सर्वे
categorically
करिए,
said it is not a question. Governments have come.
समझ में आएगा। स्टूडियो में बैठ के बयानबाजी करने से समझ में नहीं आता है जलाल साहब।
नहीं आप
जाके
तो स्टूडियो में बैठ के राजनीति खेल रहे हैं। हमें एक जमीन की आवाज मिली है, रमेश हरलकर, उनकी आवाज आपने नहीं सुनी? आपने रमेश हरलकर की आवाज नहीं सुनी? saying that he's been here in this profession for so many years, he's not seen any change on ground, and he's talking about a big city such as Mumbai.
मैं कोई पॉलिटिशियन नहीं हूँ, मैं मजदूर से इधर बात करने के लिए आया।
मुंबई का मुझे पता नहीं है।
बिल्कुल।
अरे तो आप मुंबई खड़ा करिए ना।
If you don't know anything about Mumbai, you don't know anything about your state either. The state of Madhya Pradesh has recorded the second highest number of manual scavengers, and in one case that has come to light today, which the NHRC has taken note of, you say that this is politically motivated.
Madhya yes, of course politically motivated. आप हमको ये बताइए कि ये जो घटना घटी है शहर में, भोपाल के वार्ड में, इसके अलावा और दूसरी घटना आपको कोई दूसरा वीडियो नहीं मिल रहा है? आप बताइए हमको, फोटोग्राफी कर उसके सबूत दीजिए। कहाँ है मध्य प्रदेश? आंकड़े बताने से थोड़ी होता।
सबूत आपके फिगर्स हैं, आपकी सरकार के फिगर्स हैं ये कि कितने मैनुअल स्कैवेंजर्स हैं आपके प्रदेश में।
आप
and look at the responses that we are getting on the right of our screens here. These are viewers who are writing in saying on a daily basis the number of manual scavengers that they see. Mr. John Dayal, there is an allegation here that we are not giving enough credit to the government of the work that has been done in the past 4 years. What work have you observed? Mr. John Dayal, what constructive work have you observed in these past 4 years?
No. The large number of photographs taken of VIPs making clinical broom motions of streets where they brought in kura, garbage to clean. This is rubbing salt in the wounds of all the people. I am telling you, I began by a simple example. Please go to the New Delhi railway station and any other station and tell me, do they have a machine to clear the platforms of human sewage? Let us begin from there and then tell me, where are the machines in villages to clean? So tell me, in every village, every panchayat, do they have a machine to clean septic tanks? Is there a machine in Delhi to clean septic tanks? Any number of septic tanks exist in Delhi. Alternate ones, primary ones. Is there a machine here? This is the whole problem. Because it has been delegated to a caste, it is nobody's concern, because the rest of us are entitled. We are either upper caste or upper class, and if we don't even see, I asked you, where do adult diapers go? It's a mystery. It's an Agatha Christie mystery. Where do diapers go? They are handled.
Right. Shama, you want to step in at this point and also take into account the allegation of this being a legacy issue. This is a legacy issue that today's government is struggling with.
See, you have to see that this present government has only one thing to say: if nothing works, it's the fault of the Congress party. It means you have to see in this, they say that, you know, what is the, yes, I said in the beginning, we all have to hang our head in shame. But let's look into, let's take into perspective what the Congress party has done for manual scavengers. In 1993, it was under Narasimha Rao, we brought in the act. An amendment was also done during the UPA years in 2013. So we are definitely concerned about it. But for me, now that law has to be enacted, the people who are committing this crime of letting these scavengers get into these septic tanks, sewer tanks, have to be, have to be put behind bars. I mean, we need to convict these people. That's how we go forward. And the Prime Minister, 1 minute, let me finish. And the Prime Minister, you know, the highest number of manual scavengers are on our railway tracks. He talks about bullet trains. Why are we getting into bullet trains? Where are the toilets, ecological toilets for the trains? Let's change that. That is the most important thing, because the highest number of manual scavengers are hired for our railways. So why are we not doing anything about it? He started Swachh Bharat. Why doesn't he take it and finish it and get into the aspect of manual scavengers and stop this bullet trains and all the other things? And let's start with ecological toilets
in our railway station. Issue that the government today is struggling with.
And also,
Biswara Wilson, apart from two acts passed in 1993, 2013, this is a legacy issue that we are struggling with today.
And also one more thing, I just want to point out one other thing, Seher. The highest number of manual
No,
scavengers
let's have Biswara
in
Wilson
BJP
respond
ruled
to that.
states. Let's not forget it.
Let's have Biswara Wilson respond to that. Biswara, please go ahead.
See, the stringent act must be there is no doubt. But there is an act which already is there existing. Why we are not implementing that? Why? Why no politician in this country is answering for this? We are talking about this past 35 years. You are continuously talking. Then second is, you have declared 399 districts open defecation free. But the same district still having even the dry latrine, sewage system is nowhere, and the septic tanks are being cleaned by the human beings. How can you do this injustice? And you have a money to spend or construct the toilets, but we don't have the money to rehabilitate the women scavengers who left for their dignity because of the Baba Saheb Ambedkar said the call. The Dalits must come out of this job. They came out. But the government has not given any rehabilitation. When the people died in the sewer line and septic tank, none of the chief minister, including the prime minister, never given anywhere the 10 lakhs compensation immediately. They have to bring the dead body, and we have to keep the dead body in front of the DMDC office, and we have to fight for the compensation. This is the state of the nature we are having. This is the democracy. In the democracy, when the citizen is dying, we have to bring the dead body.
There's no dignity in life, unfortunately, no dignity in death as well. It's very disheartening to hear you say that, and this is the grim reality. Colin Gonsalves, the government has also reduced the budget for the rehabilitation to a dramatically low amount. Starting at 4.5 billion rupees, it has been shot down to 50 million rupees. Why do you think that the government has done that? Is there an indication that things are being fixed on ground? We don't need as much money now for their rehabilitation.
Well, if you look at any social scheme in the country, be it maternity benefit or the right to food, or like in the case of manual scavengers, you'll find out that the Modi government has slashed the expenditures by roughly 50%. Maternity benefit for poor women, for example, has come down virtually to zero. So it's not a surprise that he's slashing the budgets. He prefers to use it for some industrialist or some commercial activity, but he doesn't want it for the poor. I want to give you 2 or 3 suggestions on rehabilitation. First is, we must not believe any scheme, any rehabilitation scheme and so on. Second is, we must not follow this defense that I heard from this Congress party spokesman that we did an act and we did rules and we did this and we did that, because making act and rules is a meaningless exercise in this country where no act and no rule is implemented. The Congress government in its practice was as bad as the BJP government is today in its practice. What needs to be done? First, and this is the suggestion before the High Court, the first suggestion is all manual scavengers who have suffered untouchability, which is constitutionally not allowed, prohibited, all manual scavengers should now be taken, regularized, given regular employment, so they join the mainstream of labor and they are put on the rolls of the various corporations. And so, second, as the Supreme Court said, you must be given a full body coverage. And it's easily available, it can be imported, and it's suitable for hot countries like India. Full body coverage, so you don't touch excreta or garbage or any rubbish anymore. Third, you must be given free, top-notch medical treatment in any government hospital. And fourth, because they're all dying, thousands and thousands of manual scavengers are dying, they should be checked up, and when they are found to be seriously ill with tuberculosis or blindness or whatever, they should be given free wages, full wages, until they die. These are the 4 basic requirements. Bring them into the mainstream, enumerate all of them, give them protective equipment, give them medical equipment.
Colin Gonsalves, you're of course talking about rehabilitation. You're talking about their rehabilitation with respect to taking care of their health, with respect to making the work environment safe. But rehabilitation, as per the government's understanding, is to have them move away from this profession, is to employ them with alternate skills so that they can look forward and work towards self-employment. They should be given an assistance of 40,000 rupees each to be working towards self-employment. All that the government rehabilitation here takes into account is to have them move away from being illegally employed as manual scavengers. Today, do we have anything from the government with respect to their health? While we gradually work towards having them move away from this profession, currently, what about their health? Is the government taking that into account? That is not in the government's rehabilitation definition today.
Let me answer very quickly. I've heard this rehabilitation in my career in the courts at least 20 times. I came across schemes like this for the rehabilitation of sex workers. Let's get sex workers out of this profession and do something. And I've seen all the rehabilitation schemes in the country. They are such rubbish schemes where they treat women to make phenyl and all kinds of chemicals and things like that. All rehabilitation schemes in this country, please don't believe a word that they say. There is no rehabilitation of any section of the downtrodden. And if you can't rehabilitate prisoners, you can't rehabilitate sex workers, if you want to, that is. And if you can't rehabilitate scavengers, don't give us this rubbish again and again. We just don't believe you. Just regularize them, just make them regular workers, and that they are paid like regular workers and treated like regular workers, and form unions like regular workers and fight for their rights. Don't tell us about rehabilitation. It's such a lie. We don't believe you.
Mr. John Dayal, what do you think is going to be working on ground? Because the government had tried to put in certain aspects to the plight of manual scavengers, which seemed that would really make a difference on ground. 4 years down, we're not seeing that difference.
No. I would be laughed down if I were to say that unless caste itself is annihilated, I see no reason why they should not continue, because this gets relegated to a particular caste. If I and you, even with rubber gloves, were supposed to do it, we would refuse on our own. The point here is that our municipal systems, our sanitation systems, and our mindset are not yet modernized. We have funds, we have everything, we have reached Mars, but on this very basic thing, which is at the lowest part of the human body, we still haven't come to grips with it, because it was never a concern. It was always somebody else who was doing it. The dry lavatory was there in the West. It became the WC. That's why it's called the wet water closet. And now it is something else. The machine is totally mechanized. Here we haven't yet put our brains to it because we don't want to. I think the political will is missing. If I were to blame anybody, it would be political will, whether it is Mr. Modi or his predecessors in office. And let me say this thing once and at last. Mr. Modi is building up his claims for the nuclear bomb, for Mars, anything, on the work done by the Congress. He should take the blame also for the lapses of the Congress in this. I think the regime of the day is, at the end of the day, entirely, totally, and only responsible.
Shama, would you like to respond to that? At the end of the day, it is political will, because even in cases where even if the government does not want to mention it in its figures on how many manual scavengers are really dying while at work, there are families of manual scavengers which have had to struggle for this, in go to court in asking for compensation money as well, because they were working under such unsafe environment. Is it just a question of political will? Because at the end of the day, you have the plight of these people not just suffering while they're at work, families suffering when they've lost their loved ones here as well. They have to go to court. Despite the existing laws, they're running to court and asking for compensation.
See, one of the panelists mentioned there is no political will. If there was no political will, we wouldn't have enacted these laws, the Congress party, because there is a political will. Yes, we need much more than that political will to see to it that these laws are implemented. That I agree with him. But the political will of the Congress party is why we've enacted this. The same way we have enacted the Lokpal, where the present government has not appointed the Lokpal. So there is no political will from this present Prime Minister of ours who talks about Swachhta. What is Swachh Bharat without getting rid of manual scavengers? I don't believe there is any Swachh Bharat unless and until we get rid of the manual scavengers. These all should be mechanically done, and like the other panelists have spoken, we need these protective gears. And also, like you've mentioned, the highest number of all these manual scavengers are in BJP ruled states. They are in UP, they are in Rajasthan, they are in Gujarat. You know, let's not forget, even in Gujarat, there are a high number of manual scavengers. There is in Madhya Pradesh. So again, I'm not getting into the political, but if you want to get into the political aspect, yes, it is highest in the states run by BJP. And let's not forget, we have a government who has a brute majority in the Lok Sabha. They can do whatever they want right now, and all the other states are also under them. I mean, they have more than 22 states under them. This is the best time for them to implement, to see to it that these manual scavengers do not enter these pits, get rid of manual scavengers from railway lines, and see to it that they are rehabilitated. Now, the other panelist was speaking about the rehabilitation.
Dr. Anil, would you like to respond to that? We are still struggling with huge figures, existence of manual scavengers, maximum of which that are reported in BJP ruled states, at least for the top two, that being Uttar Pradesh and your state of Madhya Pradesh. Would you like to respond to that? अगर आपकी सरकार काम कर रही थी पिछले 4 सालों में, तो ये आंकड़े ऊपर कैसे हुए हैं?
ये उत्तर प्रदेश में कब सरकार बनी है भारतीय जनता पार्टी की? उसके पहले किसकी सरकार थी? और क्या उस समय स्कैवेंजर्स नहीं थे वहां? वो संख्या एकदम से बढ़ गई भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार बनते से? एक मिनट, मध्य प्रदेश,
अच्छा, आप मध्य प्रदेश की बात करिए फिर।
कि मध्य प्रदेश में बहुत सारी योजनाएं, बहुत सारे कार्यक्रम चलाए गए। हाँ, मैं मध्य प्रदेश की बता रहा हूं। मध्य प्रदेश में बहुत सारी योजनाएं, बहुत सारे कार्यक्रम चलाए गए हैं, और वो पूरे गरीब कल्याण के लिए कार्यक्रम चलाए जा रहे हैं। उसमें सिर्फ स्कैवेंजर्स का मामला नहीं है। और मैं बार बार ये इसलिए कह रहा हूं कि ये जो एक घटना, इसके अलावा और कोई घटना आप बता दीजिए पूरे मध्य प्रदेश में, तो ये शर्म करने की बात होगी ना। ये बिना देखे, बिना जाने।
अनिल जी, सवाल ये भी है, अगर घटनाएं हो नहीं रही है तो आंकड़े आ कहां से रहे हैं? आपको हर चीज आपके बदनाम करने के लिए क्यों लगता है? जब आंकड़े ये बता रहे हैं तो ऑब्वियसली देयर आर पीपल ऑन ग्राउंड दैट आर इलीगली बीइंग एम्प्लॉयड।
हमको नहीं, हमको आप बताइए कहां रहे, कहां घटना है? ऐसे 10 घटनाएं बताइए।
No, this is unfair. This constant persecution complex that you are being attacked by your political opponents. How will you fix the problem on ground if you continue to have this nature of a persecution complex? Any figure which is out by any given NGO across the board, be it for the entire country or for one specific state, your argument continues to remain that this has been done to insult us. We're all, after all, we're all talking, working for the welfare of this country. We're all together in this.
About definitely. I mean, this is really a shame how the spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party is speaking today, sir. It's a shame. He does not even care about these people, because the Prime Minister, I suppose, cares about putting this money in advertisements for advertising the Bharatiya Janata Party's various schemes. You know, this is what it shows. More than 4,000 crores go into advertisements for the Bharatiya Janata Party.
And the disappointment here comes is that the government continues to shy away as far as deaths that have been reported. There are figures that have been out by various media reports. Once it's reported in the press, it's on record. NGOs have reported, indicating about 300 deaths of manual scavengers while on the job last year alone in 2017. And here's what the government has done. While it continues to talk about Swachh Bharat being its prime campaign, 2019 is the target. And this is what they've done. The budget for the scheme for rehabilitation of manual scavengers has been dramatically shot down from 4.5 billion rupees to only 50 million rupees. Are we trying to show that the problem has reduced? No, we are once again looking away from reality. We are once again painting a veneer of success. Respect and rehabilitation for these people is what this government had promised, and we are far, far away from that. Thanks for being with us.